In Japan, an oni is a creature from folklore that is often described as a demon or ogre. They are usually shown as large, scary monsters with sharp claws, horns on their heads, and sometimes red or blue skin. Oni are often seen as villains, causing trouble or punishing bad people. However, in some stories, Oni can also protect people or act as guardians. One famous time you'll see Oni is during the Setsubun festival in February, where people throw beans to scare away the Oni and bring good luck. People shout, Oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi, which means Oni out, good luck in. The origin of the Oni in Japan has deep historical and cultural roots, influenced by a mix of native beliefs, Chinese mythology, and Buddhist teachings. 1. Shinto beliefs. In ancient Japan, before the influence of Buddhism, people believed in natural spirits, or kami, which could be both good and bad. Some of these early bad spirits or beings were thought to cause disasters or illness, and these may have influenced the idea of Oni. 2. Chinese and Indian influence. When Chinese culture and Buddhism came to Japan, it brought new ideas about demons and evil spirits. In Chinese mythology, there were powerful, evil creatures similar to what would later become Oni. In Buddhism, creatures known as Rakshasa from Indian mythology were fierce demons that punished evil people, and this idea blended with local Japanese beliefs. Number 3. Symbol of evil and punishment. In Japanese folklore, Oni became symbols of evil and destruction. They often lived in remote mountains or caves and were known for attacking villages. However, in many stories, Oni also served as punishers of wicked humans. In Buddhist hell, Jigoku, Oni are said to punish the souls of the dead. 4. Cultural evolution. Over time, the image of the Oni has changed. While they are often seen as scary villains, Oni are also used in festivals and celebrations. For example, during Setsubun, Oni represent the bad things people want to drive away to bring in good fortune. Overall, the Oni reflects a mix of Japan's native beliefs and influences from China and India, evolving over centuries into the iconic figure we recognize today. The Oni in Japan has a long history that mixes old Japanese beliefs with ideas from other countries like China and India. 1. Old Japanese stories. A long time ago, people in Japan believed in spirits, called kami, that lived in nature. Some spirits were good, but some were bad. The bad ones, which caused things like sickness or disasters, might have been the first idea of Oni. 2. Ideas from China and Buddhism. When Japan started learning about Chinese culture and Buddhism, new ideas about demons came in. China had its own bad creatures, and Buddhism told stories about fierce demons from India. These ideas blended together and helped shape the Oni. 3. Punishers of bad people. Oni are often shown as evil monsters that destroy things or harm people, but in some stories, Oni punish bad or evil humans. In Buddhist stories, Oni live in hell and punish the dead. 4. Even though Oni are scary, they are also part of fun festivals today. During Setsubun, people throw beans to scare away the Oni and bring good luck for the year. In short, Oni started as a mix of bad spirits and demons from different cultures and are now famous in Japanese culture as both scary monsters and symbols in festivals. Yes, there is a theory that the Oni in Japanese folklore may have been inspired by the image of the indigenous peoples who lived in Japan before or alongside the arrival of the Japanese ancestors. This theory suggests that early Japanese people may have seen these groups as different or threatening, and over time, this image evolved into the monstrous figure of the Oni. Here's a simple explanation of this idea. 1. Ainu and Emishi people. Before Japan was unified, there were various indigenous groups like the Ainu and the Emishi living in northern Japan and other areas. These people had different cultures, appearances, and ways of life from the Japanese who came from the West. 2. Conflict. As the Japanese expanded their territory, they often had conflicts with these indigenous groups. Some historians believe that the Oni figure may have been partly based on these people, who were seen as outsiders or enemies. Their different appearance, such as having beards and wearing animal skins, may have been exaggerated into the image of the Oni. Number 3, demonizing the enemy. It's possible that as time passed, stories about these groups became more mythical. The Oni might have been a way for people to represent and demonize those who were seen as a threat or were culturally different. This theory is just one of many ideas about the origins of Oni, and while it's an interesting perspective, there's no solid proof that the Oni directly represent any one group of people. Instead, it's likely that Oni were influenced by a mix of historical events, cultural blending, and imagination. There is a theory that the Oni might have come from how ancient Japanese people saw some of the indigenous groups who lived in Japan before them. 1. Different peoples. A long time ago, there were groups like the Ainu and Amishi living in Japan. They looked different from the Japanese and had their own ways of life. 2. Conflicts. As Japanese people moved into new areas, they often fought with these groups. Some think that over time, these people were seen as scary or dangerous, and their image slowly turned into the Oni monster. 3. Demonizing. Because they were seen as enemies, stories may have changed them into something more frightening, like the Oni. For example, people might have exaggerated their appearance, like making them seem big, hairy, and wild, like how Oni are often shown. This is just a theory, and there are many ideas about where Oni came from. But it's possible that these early people helped shape the idea of the Oni. Momotaro is one of Japan's most famous and beloved folk tales, and it's a fun story with a bit of adventure, teamwork, and a dash of heroism. Here's how it goes. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village, there lived an elderly couple. One day, the old woman went to the river to wash clothes, as you do when you're an old woman in a folk tale. Suddenly, a giant peach came floating down the river. This wasn't your regular grocery store peach. It was huge, like the size of a watermelon. Naturally, she took it home. When the couple cut open the peach, surprise! Inside was a baby boy. They were thrilled and decided to raise him as their own, naming him Momotaro, or Peach Boy, because, he came from a peach. Momotaro grew up to be strong and brave, and one day he heard that Oni, those scary demons, were causing trouble on a distant island. So like any responsible peach-born hero, he decided to fight them and save the day. His parents, worried but supportive, packed him some snacks for the road, millet dumplings. On his way, Momotaro met 3 animals, a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant. Each wanted to join his quest, but they weren't going to fight for free. So Momotaro offered them some of his kibidango in exchange for their help. Now, with his animal crew, they sailed to the island of the Oni. When they arrived, the Oni were shocked to see a boy with a gang of animals storming their island. After an epic battle, Momotaro and his squad defeated the Oni, tied up their leader, and made them promise to behave. They even took all the stolen treasure back to the village. In the end, Momotaro returned home as a hero, his parents were proud, and the villagers were safe once again. Oh, and the kibidango? Apparently, pretty powerful stuff. So, that's Momotaro. The tale of a boy born from a peach who teamed up with a dog, a monkey, and a bird to beat up some bad guys. It's a classic Japanese story of friendship, bravery, and of course, snacks. Momotaro is a famous Japanese folk tale about a boy born from a giant peach. An old couple finds him and raises him as their son. One day, Momotaro decides to fight the Oni demons who are causing trouble on a distant island. On his journey, he meets a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant who agree to help him in exchange for his snacks called kibidango. Together, they defeat the Oni, take back stolen treasure, and return home as heroes. It's a fun story about bravery, teamwork, and of course, tasty dumplings. Momotaro's companions, a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant, each have their own symbolic reasons for being in the story, reflecting Japanese culture and the natural behavior of these animals. 1. Dog. In Japan, dogs are seen as loyal and brave, making the dog a strong and reliable companion for Momotaro. The dog represents strength and faithfulness, perfect for a hero's journey. 2. Monkey. Monkeys are clever and quick. In the story, the monkey represents intelligence and agility, qualities that help Momotaro in creative ways during the adventure. 3. Pheasant. Kij. Pheasants are known for being bold and flying high. The pheasant can scout the area from above and attack the Oni from the sky. Its ability to fly adds a unique advantage to the group. These animals also symbolize teamwork because they all have different strengths, which together make them a powerful team. In the folktale, even though dogs, monkeys, and pheasants might not get along naturally, they work together for a common goal, just like how different people can unite to overcome challenges. In the story of Momotaro, the kibidango, millet dumplings, symbolize several important things. 1. Sharing and cooperation. Momotaro shares the kibidango with the dog, monkey, and pheasant, showing that by giving you can gain support and form strong partnerships. The kibidango becomes a symbol of how generosity leads to teamwork. 2. Energy and strength. In Japanese culture, food is often seen as a source of strength, and kibidango is no different. By eating the dumplings, Momotaro and his animal companions gain the energy they need to go on their journey and defeat the Oni. It represents nourishment and power. 3. Trust. The kibidango also represents trust. The animals only agree to help Momotaro after receiving the dumplings, symbolizing the importance of building trust in relationships through small gestures. Overall, the kibidango stands for the importance of sharing, cooperation, and the strength that comes from working together toward a common goal. The idea of Momotaro being born from a peach has symbolic meaning in Japanese culture, as well as a bit of storytelling magic. 1. Symbol of good fortune. In Japan, peaches are seen as symbols of good luck, protection, and longevity. In ancient beliefs, peaches were thought to have the power to drive away evil spirits, which fits well with Momotaro's role as a hero who defeats the Oni, demons. Being born from a peach gives him a connection to these positive qualities. 2. Magical origin. Like many heroes in folklore, Momotaro needed a special or magical beginning. Being born from a peach adds a sense of wonder to the story, making it clear that he's not an ordinary child. It captures the imagination and shows that he is destined for something great. 3. Symbol of fertility and new life. Peaches are also linked to fertility and new life. In the story, the elderly couple who found Momotaro had no children of their own. The peach, as a symbol of new beginnings, brings them happiness by giving them a son. It's a kind of miraculous birth that brings joy and renewal to their lives. In short, the peach in Momotaro's story adds layers of cultural symbolism, magic, and hope, making it more than just a fun origin. It ties into deep beliefs about luck, protection, and life.